Welcome, pilots. I'm your host, Commander Fox, and today I'm going to give you a full breakdown of the September 12th Mecha Break stream. I've listened to the whole thing and annotated it. Quick disclaimer, it was translated from a foreign language by someone doing their best to keep up, so some of the areas definitely had translation issues. If I can't figure out what they're saying, I'll play the audio and you can figure it out for yourself. Anyways, let's begin. First, they confirmed the official date for Season 1's release, which is going to be on the 19th, though the time frame exactly wasn't specified. About the new strikers, they only teased a bit about their basic playstyle. This is what we know. Alphard is going to be a high-speed ballistics-focused striker that uses cannons and missiles in a speedy assault style. It apparently has some kind of special booster system that's noteworthy, but they didn't talk about it. Hel is a strange-looking striker that deploys these drones that act like reflective prisms, allowing it to bounce its attacks around. It has an aim-down sight mode, and it can attack at a distance or even from behind cover by bending the shots from safety. They say it has powerful area of effect damage, and it was dubbed the King of Lightning and Thunderstorms by the studio. New cosmetics are being added. The major cosmetics include 8 new striker alternate weapons. 4 of them can be bought from Matrix Selections, which includes Narukami's decoy drones, Inferno's charge splitters, Aquila's mobile beam cannon, and Falcon's wing form. Another set of 4 can be obtained from the Season 1 supply crates, including Tricera's howitzer, Stego's rocket pod, Serenith's orbital targeting system, and Hurricane's decoy drone. 2 new ace pilots have been added. Both will have videos explaining their backstory at a later date. There is some confusion in the description on how to obtain them. It seems like you might need to buy the battle pass to farm for them.
Of course, we've seen a very cool Narukami, and once you purchase Battle Pass, you can grind it in the Matrix Selection store.
The explanations were a bit unclear. It sounds like one of them can definitely be obtained for mission tokens. Looks like it'll cost about 28,000 mission tokens. But Janet, the Serenith pilot, they said like it could be purchased directly, and they didn't say anything more than that, so I don't know what that means exactly. More cosmetics are also coming in, including a pilot set that kind of makes you look like some kind of special agent, as well as striker patterns that have animated effects. Next, they talked about the compensation plan due to ending Season 0 2 weeks ahead of the original 3-month schedule. The compensation is going to come in 2 categories. For the Battle Pass owners, Battle Pass will be BP going forwards, and the non-BP owners. Rewards will be given at the start of Season 1. BP owners will get 12,000 mission tokens. Mission tokens will just be MTs going forward. They'll also get 10 Season 1 supply crates. Non-BP owners will get 3,000 MTs. Both will get a discount on the new BP, which will be discounted down to $10.99. BP improvements were discussed next. So the progression has been shifted from spending MTs to progress to higher tiers into earning MTs in order to progress. The new BP will feature a very standard free-to-play progression track next to a premium progression track for BP buyers common to many games. There's going to be 50 tiers in the BP, and you're going to advance 1 tier for every 2,000 MTs you earn. That means you're going to need about 100,000 MTs across the season in order to fully unlock the BP. There's also more BP-like benefits with a free-to-play track and a premium track. The sections were kind of glossed over. They didn't explain it especially well. The strikers are going to cost 15,000 MTs each, and from what it sounds like, you're not going to get one of the strikers immediately by buying the BP. After that, they talked about the secure cargo bay mechanic. These are used in Mashmak. You can get up to 4 of these. 2 of them are free-to-play buyable with MTs, and the other 2 are available by purchasing the BP. What these do is give you protected cargo slots in Mashmak that you will always extract with even if you're defeated. They also just act as more slots to carry stuff with. Next, they talked about the Matrix Selections. They cleaned up the UI and added a bunch of new items. You can see right here that the Narukami Ace will cost 28,000 MTs. No sign of the Serenith Ace, though. There's going to be another free-to-play track and a premium track here as well. The top is the free-to-play items, while the bottom is for the BP owners. What's more, and this is an important one if you're a collector, the items from Season 0 will still be in Matrix Selections for MTs, including some additional items that were retroactively added in as Season 0 items. Next, they talked about changes to the supply crates and the guaranteed rare item mechanic. First off, unless I just horribly misunderstood them, all of the crates crates should guarantee 1 Mashmak Covert Ops key. That's what you use to get bonus runs in the Mashmak PvE mode. That also means Mashmak PvE is here to stay. In addition to that, they said for every 200 and every 400 pulls, and I don't know exactly what they mean by pulls. Does it mean 200 to 400 supply crates or 200 to 400 items in the supply crates? Anyways, for every 200 pulls, you'll get a guaranteed pattern in the crate, and for every 400 pulls, you get a guaranteed striker weapon cosmetic. They then just threw in even more cosmetics to talk about. Striker patterns. They're going to come in 5 colors and 10 variants before moving on into the balance changes. I'm sure this is what you guys want to hear about. They did point out that the balance changes are not final, but let's get started with Falcon. The Recon kit was nerfed so that no matter how briefly you use it, even if you just flick it on and off, there will be at least a 6-second cooldown. Falcon's loop was also nerfed so that its lock-on immunity is less effective, it ends sooner, and the slower loop was affected the most out of all of its loops, but Skyraider's loops are unaffected. Skyraider changes include micro-missiles tracking range is reduced from 250 meters to 200 meters. Alysnes changes include energy autocannons damage, which is boosted, and the Gauss cannons, which its damage was boosted slightly. Welkin changes include the defense field was weakened. Its threshold, which is the maximum amount of damage it can suffer per second, was increased to 60,000 points. The bigger the number, the worse for Welkin. They expect the shield will collapse in about 5 seconds of heavy sustained fire. Inferno changes. Its lock-on distance has been reduced from 480 meters to 430 meters, and its charge splitter's charging time was increased from 0.9 seconds to 1.5 seconds. Also, a bug for Inferno that allowed it to have infinite energy in the air was fixed and removed. Aquila changes, and the translation's really rough here. It's something about the energy depletion system that requires a minimum of 25% to charge before it can be reused, which is shared by Alphard. I'll just play you the audio. You can tell me what you think they mean.
Now moving on to Aquila. Aquila has a energy depletion system. The energy has to recharge to 20% after depleted before it can be used again. This is not specific to Aquila, it's also applied to Alphard. The energy has to recharge to above 20% to be used again.
For Stego, the Jamming Haze diffuser can be toggled off faster if you just wanted to turn it on and off briefly. For Narukami, again, rough translation, something about its Ox 3 ability either keeps it invisible despite being detected by things like the Recon kit, or it ECM jams people and prevents lock-on. Here's the audio, you tell me.
Once your Ox 3 is on, you can still be detected by enemy scan. This didn't meet our expected impact for an ultimate with, a long cooldown. Now, when you activate Ox 3, although scan can detect the stealth layer provided by its drone, you can no longer direct lock onto Narukami itself. Right click and left click, you couldn't lock on it, but you can deal damages or just hit, attack it. So when Narukami is hidden into that field, you couldn't scan it.
Luminae changes. Corruption mode's Ox 2 now destroys some missiles fired at it. Serenith changes. They say it performs really well, but it does have a learning curve. They've fixed a bug where the NPCs will still attack Serenith when it's using its jammer, and they reduced the jammer's cooldown from 24 seconds to 18. Stellaris changes. The grappling claw now has a 0.8 second delay before Stellaris attacks, so the victims have 0.8 seconds to react after getting grabbed by it. In addition, the optical camo duration has been reduced from 16 seconds to 12 seconds, and the cooldown increased. Next, they talked about PvP tiers. They have done some optimizations to matchmaking, though I didn't quite understand what exactly was optimized. Instead, they mostly focused on this chart, which I'll display. It tells you what tier you're going to begin in Season 1, and it's based on where your final placement was in Season 0. Then they talked about Mashmak and acknowledged immediately that PvE players really enjoyed it, so it's here to stay. They reduced the quantity of basic enemies to lower pressure on the players. There's also some kind of new crate with boss-level quality items, but they didn't really talk about it. They added a new boss. I think it's called Marina, and it's some kind of weird Corite-infused scorpion monster. They didn't want to spoil its abilities, so you'll just have to find out yourself. And it sounds like you can find it by using your restricted zone keys. In solo Mashmak PvP, death is now permanent, so no revivals. This was done to speed up the matches. Your glider now has a 10-second lock before other players can interact with it, but once the 10 seconds are up, anyone can get it, friend or foe. They're adding 2 new Mashmak weapons. The first is like Aquila's Claw. You shoot it out and it grabs somebody and stuns them. The other is like Welkin's Dueling Shield, so you can trap people in a cube or just use the cube to protect yourself. Cargo rockets are stackable now as well. For the 6v6 PvP mode, challenges have been added. 5 basic challenges and 5 advanced challenges. The purpose of these are to teach you a little bit about each map. Next, they talked about Photomode, which is being formally added into the game. You can pose your strikers basically like a Gunpla model with a custom background, but now you can also pose in a group photo with your friends in the base. I'm sure it will not be used by you freaky pilots for suspect things. The jetpack that you originally used in the now defunct system in solo Mashmak after you get shot down can now be used in the base. Speaking of the base, 2 new areas have been added, Christian's office and the lounge. Next, they talked about the player marketplace. Items are going to be cheaper and the auction system is temporarily disabled. I don't think that means you can't list items, but you can't list items for auction, if I understood it right. It sounds like they're going to start letting you set your own prices, but the translation's really rough here. The UI will now show items grouped together better and present them by price, and when there's duplicates, the cheapest item will be shown first. In addition to that, some things can't be sold on the marketplace, like the Narukami Ace. Next, they talked about your missions, which is basically your weekly challenges. The translations were pretty rough in this area, but it sounds like if you complete all of your weekly missions, you get even more rewards. They also mentioned some kind of new reward, a mock box. I have no idea. I'll play the audio for you.
Now, by completing these weekly missions, you will get mock boxes.
Their closing thoughts is that they definitely couldn't get to everything in the stream. Gameplay for Hel and Alphard later. Battlefield mode, which I think is the 24 versus 24 mode, is still in development. More news by October, including an imitation playlist. Rough translation, I'll let you hear it.
But we promise that before October, we will have imitation-based playtest.
They're also planning to add more 6v6 maps. Anyways, pilots, that is the condensed version of their 1-hour stream. I hope you found it informative and much faster than listening to the whole thing. Sorry I couldn't get the news sooner today, but they literally just did the stream at like 4 a.m. and I was asleep. Anyways, let me know what you think about these changes down in the comment section. Of course, remember that you don't have to be good to get good.